in the eternal battle of predator versus prey. Earth's most lethal hunters feast on the helpless. Unless lunch fights back. Sometimes humble plant eaters kick some carnivore butt. Brain defeats brawn. David slays Goliath. When life balances on a razor's edge, animals defend themselves with a fearsome array of counterattacks. Never underestimate the power of the underdog. Apex predators are killers at the top of their game. But victory is never assured. Sometimes an easy meal becomes a battle for survival. The African savanna is an epic battleground for hunters and the hunted. No predator is more famous or more feared than the lion. Relentless, powerful, and packing a full arsenal of weaponry. Dangerous alone, their threat is multiplied because they hunt in prides. Lions usually take what they want, and few escape their hungry attention. But not every animal accepts its role as prey. There's one grazer here that doesn't take any crap from the so-called king of the jungle. The Cape buffalo. These enormous beasts may be relatives of the cow, but they're anything but docile. They've earned a reputation among human hunters as aggressive and extremely dangerous foes. Lions have faced this threat for thousands of years. The big cats may be the buffalo's main predator, but every encounter is dangerous and unpredictable. The powerful buffalo can toss a 180-kilogram cat in the air like a bouquet at a wedding, often with deadly results. This pride has caught a young calf. Like all cows, Cape buffalo are herd animals, so mess with one and you mess with them all. The fearless adults advance, forcing the lions to retreat from a wall of angry beef. This one is lucky to escape with its life. It's too late for the calf, but it isn't over yet. Lions have babies too. Mobs of buffalo have been observed going after lions that have killed a member of their herd. This pride is resting and digesting after a successful hunt. They're blissfully unaware that they're being stalked themselves. The pride contains 10 cubs, too young to know that danger is close by. By the time the adults realize what's going on, it's too late. The buffalo's fury is unleashed on the confused and helpless cubs. Lionesses try desperately to distract the rampaging buffalo. But they're outnumbered and outmuscled. Eventually, the buffalo lose interest, leaving the mothers to call for their cubs. Only 7 respond. 3 have been lost. The survivors have learned a valuable lesson. Even the king of the jungle should steer away from the world's most dangerous cows. Another carnivorous cat shares the African plains with lions. But she's smaller, lighter, and built for speed. This cheetah can spot gazelles, its favorite prey, from 5 kilometers away. She accelerates from 0 to nearly 100 kilometers per hour in only 3 seconds. With one powerful bite, the cheetah clamps down on the windpipe and strangles the gazelle. A textbook kill. But not all hunts are this easy. This cheetah sizes up her next meal. Just another routine kill. Or is it? The gazelle is fast, but no match for the turbocharged cat. Catching it is easy. Finishing the kill, not so much. The cheetah hangs on desperately while the powerful gazelle refuses to go down. Then, it counter-strikes and slams its assailant into the ground. The moral of the story? Speed isn't everything. And gazelles are not always an easy lunch. Big cats may rule the African plains, but the rivers and waterholes belong to a more prehistoric beast. The Nile crocodile. Weighing up to a ton, but moving with barely a ripple. It's supremely adapted to ambush along the water's edge, propelled by a powerful tail and sporting one of the strongest bites on Earth. With his signature death roll, he drowns and dismembers his victims by sheer force. For most land animals, venturing into the water is an enormous risk. However, there's one beast that shares Africa's rivers with the crocs that won't back down. The hippopotamus. Their name comes from the ancient Greek for river horse. They're a bit chubbier than your average thoroughbred, but in the water, they're almost as graceful. Much of their time is spent placidly floating around. You might even think they're lazy, harmless, and kinda cute. But don't be fooled. Even though they're strictly vegetarian, hippos are among the most dangerous large animals in Africa. Adults can weigh over 450 kilograms, but these beasts can really move when they want to. Their teeth are sharp and massive and housed inside a gaping maw that opens almost 180 degrees. Males are highly territorial and often battle to the death. Anything that enters their stretch of river is taking a big risk. Most of the time, hippos are tolerant of their reptilian neighbors. But sometimes, they're not. One careless croc has found itself in the middle of a nightmare. They don't want to eat it, just squash the giant reptile like a bug. For this croc, his final death roll is his own. Most predators prefer prey that's easy to catch, but there's a select group that's fearless enough to take on other predators. When that happens, you can't really be sure who's the hunter and who's the hunted. What's more dangerous than a hungry predator? Another predator fighting back. The roles of killer and prey get blurred when two hunters go jaw to jaw. Most of the time, only one survives. Sharks may be the ocean's ultimate hunters. They come in all shapes and sizes and stalk their prey with finely tuned senses. They call the tiger shark the trash can of the sea because it devours just about anything. At half a ton and over 4 meters long, this shark effortlessly tears its victims apart with razor-sharp teeth. They're one of the deadliest animals in the ocean. Off the coast of Costa Rica, a tiger shark cruises just below the surface. This is his normal hunting ground, but once in a while, uninvited guests show up for dinner. Orcas are highly intelligent and feed on a wide variety of prey. This is a pod of transients who are cruising the ocean looking for lunch. They don't hesitate in taking on the 2-meter shark. The brainy whales work together to flip the shark upside down. In this position, the shark slips into a zombie-like state called tonic immobility. It can't even bite back when the whales tear into it. And just like that, the trash can of the sea is trashed. Regardless of size, all sharks deserve respect. Even this one, a meter-long shark known as the dogfish. Today, he's lining up a soft, squishy snack. A giant Pacific octopus, the largest of its kind in the world. The boneless beast manages to escape the shark's lethal attention by emitting a concealing cloud of ink. The octopus has another secret weapon on its side. Specialized skin cells enable it to change both color and texture and vanish into its surroundings. It uses this trick to catch its own dinner. A hungry octopus is a dangerous predator too. Round 2. Another dogfish, another giant octopus. As the hungry shark swims by, this octopus takes the offensive. The dogfish is enveloped in 8 suction cup-lined arms. Hidden among the folds, the octopus's parrot-like beak delivers paralyzing venom. Unable to swim and pass water through its gills, the dogfish drowns. The 8-armed fighter is victorious in this battle of the predators. Brazil's Pantanal is one of the world's largest wetlands and is swarming with predators, including 10 million of these. Caimans, close cousins of the American alligator. Mostly they eat fish, but today he's got his eye on something bigger. A capybara, the world's biggest rodent. The capybara's only defense is to flee. It has no chance against the agile and speedy reptile. With a full belly, the caiman rests and digests, unaware that it's being watched by another cold-blooded killer that lurks in this vast quagmire. The yellow anaconda, huge and powerful, up to 4.5 meters long. He's a stealthy, solitary hunter that is fully at home in the water. He silently stalks, and ambushes the caiman from below. The anaconda relentlessly tightens its grip, squeezing away the helpless caiman's last few breaths. The snake's reward is a belly that won't need filling for months. In this deadly swamp, the hunter can easily become the hunted. In the south of India lives a serpent that is equally feared and worshipped. The spectacled cobra. It's dreaded for good reason. It grows up to 2 meters long and is armed with deadly venom. When threatened, it spreads its distinctive hood in order to appear larger. This frightens away most animals, except for the cobra's arch enemy, the Indian gray mongoose. Fearless and agile, they eat pretty much anything they can catch. They're bold enough to raid a cobra's nest and munch on the snakes before they've even hatched. Mongoose have no problem taking on the grown-ups either. The cobra is aggressive and venomous, but the clever mammal is faster and smarter. It teases and taunts the snake, ducking and weaving like a boxer and dodging its deadly fangs. When the cobra tires, the clever mongoose pounces. For this mongoose, the revered Indian cobra is just another meal. Stand up to their attackers by being tough, tenacious, or surprisingly aggressive. When those tactics fail, it's good to be the ultimate escape artist. If a hungry predator has got you in its sights, you can stand and fight. Or stay off the menu with fast moves and fancy footwork. Nature's escape artists know that even when death is staring them in the face, it ain't over till it's over. In a Central American forest, a deadly fer-de-lance snake is on the prowl. Camouflaged, aggressive, and extremely venomous. And surprisingly, easy prey for a giant eight-legged hunter. The tarantula injects its own venom. The snake's insides liquefy, so the spider can slurp it up. When these giant spiders are on the hunt, it's a good idea to get out of their way. A small amphibian in South America knows how to do just that. These are tepuis, flat-topped mountains in Venezuela. Up to 3,000 meters tall and home to unique wildlife. Like the pebble toad. He is only 3 centimeters long with no venomous fangs and can barely even hop. A perfect snack-sized meal for hungry tarantulas. But he does have one radical defensive tactic. When threatened, he flings himself off the cliff. Pebble toads are nature's stuntmen and are so light that bouncing off rocks won't hurt them. The tough little toads survive dangerous situations unharmed, leaving hungry tarantulas to seek other. North America's red-tailed hawk is often called the chicken hawk, but he's no coward. The raptor will happily go after prey that would scare off other hunters. Including the deadly diamondback rattlesnake. The snake's warning rattle is more like a dinner bell for this hawk. One bite from the snake could kill him, but the fearless raptor has a special tactic. It holds out its wings like a matador's cape. While the snake is distracted, he pounces with his powerful talons. The dangerous snake becomes an easy mid-afternoon snack. Another red-tailed hawk searches for a victim and spies a harmless squirrel. If they can tackle a fearsome rattlesnake, then surely this furry critter is doomed. The only thing it can do is run. It dives for cover into its nest. Trapped, the squirrel can only do one thing: jump. With one daring move, the squirrel thwarts one of the best hunters in the business. Looks can be deceiving. This slow and squishy rough-skinned newt is actually one of the most toxic animals on Earth. It's covered in a muscle-paralyzing poison called TTX, which is 10,000 times more deadly than cyanide. If a predator eats him, it's usually their last meal. A hungry garter snake is sizing it up. The snakes have evolved partial immunity to TTX, but some newts are more poisonous than others. It's an evolutionary arms race between predator and prey. The newt sends a warning signal. And the snake decides it's not worth the risk. Another predator is less cautious. This voracious bullfrog decides to go for it, swallowing the newt whole. Now it's a race between the frog's stomach acid and the newt's poison. The deadly TTX does its work, and the newt crawls from the belly of the beast, none the worse for wear. It's a comeback worthy of Rocky Balboa himself. In Africa's dry season, finding water is an obsession for all animals. And finding it is just the beginning. Staying alive while getting a drink is the tricky part. This life-saving oasis has a gang of deadly guardians. Nile crocodiles. A visit to this waterhole can be a one-way trip. This mother baboon is desperate for a drink. She knows the crocs are waiting, but she has no choice. She is dragged into the muddy pool. And barely escapes the crocodile's terrifying jaws. Her loyal companions help to drive it away. But during the chaos, another crafty croc grabs a young female. And this one's got a better grip. She's got nearly 1,400 kilograms of pressure on her skull. But baboons are quick and wily. She's far from giving up. She lives to steal a drink another day. When the options are life or death, a cornered animal must use every trick in the book to escape. But a few have one special move that only they have perfected. In the game of survival, it's good to have an ace up your sleeve. Evolution has awarded predators with power, venom, and fearsome weaponry. But their prey has evolved to keep up. Some animals have perfected unique ways of getting out of a deadly situation. In the baking heat of Arizona's Sonoran Desert, a formidable-looking creature soaks up some rays. A horned lizard. Despite their intimidating looks, these lizards only eat ants and are more often the victims of other predators. A coach whip, one of the longest and fastest snakes in North America. And it's got a taste for other reptiles. The lizard's normal appearance is no deterrent. This is going to take a dash of theatrics. It inflates its body, turning itself into a prickly ball that looks impossible to swallow. When that plan doesn't work, the lizard pulls out its ultimate move. A truly impressive death scene. The snake buys the act and soon loses interest. Saved by an Oscar-worthy performance. As the sun sets over the Sonoran Desert, the predator night shift goes to work. This Arizona bark scorpion is the most venomous of its kind in North America. Its sting will easily paralyze an insect. But it's powerful enough to take down much larger animals. Deep below the desert sands, a grasshopper mouse tends to her litter. She must constantly leave the safety of the burrow to find food. And that puts her in harm's way. The scorpion drives its venomous spike right into her. But she just shakes it off. In fact, the mouse's unique nervous system actually uses the venom to stop the pain. This chemical counterstrike means that the scorpion's fearsome weapon is not only harmless, it actually helps its intended prey. Triumphant, the grasshopper mouse drags her victim underground to sustain her brood. Then emerges to once more howl at the moon. She's no helpless victim. She's a wolf in mouse's clothing. A tropical coral reef is a bustling hub of undersea life. Hermit crabs move into empty shells and carry their own safe house on their backs. The portable panic room is enough to keep many predators at bay. But not all. An octopus has 8 nimble arms and a brain built for problem solving. It rips the crab from its shell with ease. Faced with an enemy like this, hermit crabs could use a security upgrade. Sea anemones catch and kill their prey with stinging tentacles. But some animals have figured out how to use them for their own protection. The clownfish finds a safe haven among the tentacles, thanks to a layer of protective mucus. Some hermit crabs have taken this strategy a step further. This clever crab carefully detaches the venomous anemone from the rock and transplants it onto its shell. When the hungry octopus strikes again, the crab's new bodyguards give it an armful of painful stings, and it quickly retreats to find an easier meal. The unharmed hermit crab struts off with its new security team still riding on its back. Having a special life-saving trick is a great asset, but it's even better to be packing a secret weapon. In the field of predator deterrence, nothing beats chemical warfare. Predators attack their victims with fearsome weaponry. Claws, teeth, and venom. To defend themselves, some animals harness the power of chemistry. The ootpister beetle of Africa is a dedicated anteater. Not the most pleasant dining experience. The feisty ants are full of caustic formic acid. But this is exactly what the beetle wants. Because when the meal is over, it's got to face down predators of its own. A mongoose, a voracious insect eater. The beetle would make a juicy snack. But now, it's packing a chemical weapon, courtesy of the ants. Its body is able to store the ant's formic acid, then fire it back out, right into the mongoose's face. One spray is enough to discourage the predator and make an escape. The real mad scientist of the insect world is the bombardier beetle. When threatened, the beetle mixes chemicals together inside its abdomen. The reaction is explosive. The caustic brew shoots from the beetle's rear end at near boiling temperatures. And this bombardier has impressive aim. A salvo or two clears the battlefield. And the beetle heads off to recharge his super weapon. The island of Madagascar is home to bizarre plants and animals found nowhere else on Earth, including the tomato frog. No prizes for guessing how it got its name. That bright color is a warning. One that this hog-nosed snake would be wise to heed. The frog inflates itself to be as large as possible. But the hungry snake attacks anyway. When that fails, he secretes a sticky ooze and gives the hognose a mouthful it won't forget. It's not fatal, but this natural glue gums the snake's mouth up and makes it tough to eat anything for a while. That's one way to get out of a sticky situation. The tomato frog isn't the only animal chemist on Madagascar. Giant millipedes are harmless, unless you try to mess with them. When threatened, they squirt noxious, foul-smelling chemicals, like natural pepper spray. It's enough to deter most animals, but there's one case where this chemical counterstrike backfires. Black lemurs seem to have an addiction to giant millipedes. The lemurs nibble on them just enough to release the chemical defense. Then rub the noxious fluid through their fur in a frenzy. They're not poisoning themselves. They're applying a natural insect repellent. For these lemurs, a millipede a day keeps the mosquitoes away. But the chemical compound does more than just act as a bug spray. It has a narcotic effect that seems to get them high. The millipedes are released, mostly unharmed, leaving the lemurs to come down. There are many ways to avoid getting eaten. Be tougher than expected, pull a fast one, or unleash a secret weapon. When all else fails, bring a few friends, or a few million. When death is staring you in the face, it's never good to be on your own. Some animals get by with a little help from their friends. The more, the better. On the plains of Africa, danger comes in many forms. The puff adder is one of the deadliest snakes on the planet. Its huge fangs, lightning-fast strike, and potent venom make short work of anything on its hit list. Small mammals are a favorite target. This one has slithered its way into a meerkat colony. By themselves, meerkats are lightweights and no match for a puff adder. But these perky little mammals have other ways of protecting themselves. They work as a coordinated team. A lookout spots the deadly intruder and sounds the alarm. The meerkat gang goes on high alert. They're so tuned in, they seem to act as one, synchronizing their movements to confuse and intimidate the snake. The puff adder is not up to the coordinated challenge. By working as a group, the meerkats protect every member of their clan. In another part of Africa, a mighty army is on the march. African driver ants, feared by humans and every other resident of this tropical forest. Because together, they're not a collection of tiny insects. They're a single coordinated super predator. They overwhelm their victims with sheer numbers, cut them to pieces, and take them back to feed the colony. Scouts fan out ahead looking for more. Today, they've struck the jackpot. A forest termite mound. A scouting party breaches the fortress walls and infiltrates the tunnels. Then the army launches a full-scale invasion. Deep inside the mound lives another army, dominated by a giant, bloated queen. Huge soldier termites guard the tunnels. They are the first to spot the invaders. They bang their heads on the ground to warn them off, but the ants are relentless. The tunnel guards are overrun. In the Queen's chamber, her guards desperately barricade the entrance and attempt to move her huge bulk to safety. The fighting is savage as the two armies go jaw to jaw. Casualties mount on both sides. The ants are pushed back, then mount a second wave, pushing deeper into the fortress. Termite reinforcements arrive from below. For once, the driver ant army is outnumbered. Those that are still alive retreat from the underground battlefield, leaving behind the dead and dying. The immense driver ant army has been defeated. Strength in numbers has saved the termite queen and her loyal subjects. Until the next siege of their natural fortress. It only takes one twist, one last-ditch effort, one counterstrike to turn the battle between predator and prey upside down. Earth's mightiest hunters sometimes get a taste of their own medicine. Just when you think you've seen it all, the underdog strikes back. Baby animals, they're cute, they're cuddly, they're simply adorable. Don't be fooled. Out in the wild, these youngsters have to be deadly just to make it past childhood. They're badass babies and pint-sized predators, born ready to fight, bite, and kill. In a world where only the strong survive, these little guys come out swinging. An apex predator on the hunt is an awesome mixture of speed, power, and cunning. It can take years to perfect the technique, and if you don't catch food, you starve. How does a young hunter get to the top of its game? A crash course at Predator School. No question, lion cubs are playful and curious. They're not just trying to be cute. These clumsy cubs have a little more than 2 years to become expert hunters. By then, young females are expected to help catch food for the pride. And young males must be skilled enough to make a living alone. The real lessons begin on the first day of school. Watch and learn, kids. Mom is a finely tuned hunter. She puts her technique on display. First, stealth. Then speed. And finally, power. But she doesn't kill this buffalo calf. She drags the injured beast to her cubs to use as practice. It's a vital lesson in the art of survival. Not all lessons come as easy. Some have to be learned the hard way. By their first birthday, the young hunters are eager to try catching their own prey. Not that they're ready. Baboons can be a tricky catch because they hide out in trees, but this little cub hasn't figured that out yet. The clever monkey's happy to teach its own kind of lesson. Never stand under a baboon with a full bladder. The next exam is joining Mom on a hunt. This young female shows enthusiasm. Too much of it. She forgets lesson number 1, stealth, and charges too early, spooking the herd of zebra. As they mature, the teens become star athletes with over 200 kilograms of muscle, a top speed of 60 kilometers per hour, and 5-centimeter canines to rip into prey. Mom's lessons have paid off. The cubs now realize the full power of their weaponry and killer instinct that is their birthright. Lessons from a dutiful mother may take a while to master, but for a real crash course, there's nothing like learning from a dozen teachers at once. A remote South American beach is not as quiet as it seems. A mother killer whale is about to teach her daughter a rewarding but risky hunting technique. The prize, young and unwary sea lions. The pair of killer whales rushes in together. But it's the baby that makes the kill. The calf is already able to hunt the same prey its mother does. It doesn't hurt that she was born weighing 130 kilograms. She also has an entire extended family to hunt with. Mom's her primary teacher, but there's a lot to learn from watching the group. The pod heads for a new hunting ground, a spot where sea lions gather in a huge breeding colony. A smorgasbord of pups waits on the beach. The entire pod approach in silence. They attack as a coordinated group. With the young hunter in the thick of the action. Hunting this way is dangerous, sometimes fatal. The rookie calf could easily become stranded, then crushed under her own weight on the dry beach. But she's well on her way to becoming an expert. With help from the entire pod, this whale has earned the title of killer. Having a support group around definitely helps the learning process. On the African plains, a newborn springbok stumbles to find its feet. Nearby, another youngster is watching. This one has hunting on its mind. This young male cheetah has an audience. 4 siblings plus a babysitter. While they watch, he tries for his first solo kill. This cub has all the tools of an adult. Long legs for sprinting and dog-like claws for traction. But he has no idea what to do after catching his prey. nor do any of his siblings. Young cheetahs are unusual among big cats in that they are born without the instinct to hunt. They hit at the springbok's hind legs to trip it up. They eventually succeed at their mission, but their technique is sloppy. It is up to their mother to mold these natural athletes into high-performance predators. Her eyes are tuned for sharp daytime vision, able to identify prey from 5 kilometers away. She turns on the gas to show her youngsters how it's done, accelerating to become the world's fastest land animal, reaching top speeds of almost 100 kilometers per hour, twice as fast as the best human sprinters. A strong bite clamps the windpipe shut and suffocates the victim. Cheetahs may be fast, but they're lean, with no sharp claws to protect themselves. When threatened, cheetahs thump the ground with their paws. They're no match for fierce scavengers like hyenas. So Mom teaches her cubs another valuable lesson. After making a kill, drag it somewhere safe, away from thieving eyes. Another valuable lesson the young ones must learn: speed comes at a price. An all-out sprint pushes their metabolism so hard that they can only keep it up for a few hundred meters. And if they don't cool down for about 30 minutes after running, they'll die. That's why they must learn the art of stealth, so that one short burst will pay off. This time, the cub strangles the antelope before trying to eat it. With Mom's expert training and help from their siblings, awkward baby cheetahs will eventually transform into the fastest 4-legged hunters on Earth. Some young animals need expert training and take years to become lethal predators. Others are born into the world rough, tough, and ready to rumble. Not every baby animal has a patient parent to teach them how to kill. Some have to rely on being tough as nails. They're born ready to fight and claw their way to the top of the food chain. These youngsters may be small, but they've got attitude way beyond their size. Never underestimate the little guy. A blood-curdling screech pierces the still Australian night. A devil is on the loose. Meet the bellowing, brawling Tasmanian devil. Adults and babies alike never get tired of snarling and biting one another. No surprise how they got their name. Australian settlers figured these devils must have clawed their way from hell. Their aggression starts from infancy. Mother devils are only pregnant for 3 weeks before they give birth. Like all marsupials, her babies are born blind and helpless. They must find their way to her pouch and life-saving milk. Life's first brutal test comes early. There can be 25 or more newborns, but mom only has 4 nipples. It doesn't take a math expert to know how that will turn out. No time to mourn. She eats her dead babies so nothing goes to waste. These infants are the ones that beat the odds. By now, they've got a serious set of teeth. Pound for pound, an adult devil has one of the strongest bites in the world, able to slice through hide and crush bone. Mom is an easy target for biting practice. She's one tough mother, but everyone has their limits. After 7 months, she cuts the apron strings and leaves the den, with no plans to see her rowdy infants ever again. The little devils quickly go their separate ways. The next time they meet, it may be to battle over a rotten carcass. Live prey or putrid flesh, a little devil eats it all. And keeps eating and eating, up to 40% of their body weight in a single meal. With a temperament like this, calories burn fast. A few more months is all it takes for a devil's scavenging skills to reach grisly perfection. Well, look who's all grown up. This youngster has devoured his way through bone and muscle, so he can hide in his dinner and have it all to himself. Mom would be so proud. On the plains of Africa lives a different kind of temperamental little devil. An adult rhinoceros is a 3-ton battering ram, with a horn sharp enough to pierce a car door. And a baby rhino? All that aggression crammed into a pugnacious pint-sized package. Born at around 40 kilograms, this baby rhino is on his feet within an hour. After 2 months, he's following Mom everywhere. It's been a long, hot day. Time to head to the waterhole to cool off. However, a huge adult male wants it all to himself. And he doesn't seem willing to share. He charges, separating mother and calf. A critical situation. Mom could be killed in an instant. What's a baby to do? Run away? Cower in fear? Not this little guy. He may be the size of a prize pig, but he's got the heart of a full-grown bull rhino. By the age of 3, this feisty young calf is really testing Mom's patience, and he's ready to go solo. By 10, he will have grown into one of Africa's most dangerous beasts, bashing and bulldozing his way around the waterhole. Another of Africa's toughest babies can be a real handful. before its mother and every other animal it meets. A honey badger and her baby are on the hunt for dinner. The little one would rather explore. She turns to see him sprinting off. Now what's he up to? Oh, just attacking a couple of zebras 10 times his size. Luckily, Mom is even more fearless. Junior's already showing the fighting spirit that honey badgers are famous for. If he makes it to full size, he'll chase off cheetahs, devour deadly snakes, and generally dare the world to mess with him. At this age, his independent streak can leave him open to larger threats, like this jackal. He already knows the best defense is a good offense. And attitude can make up for skill. To be worthy of the name, this little honey badger has to learn how to raid a beehive. Mother shows how it's done. Tearing into the nest with 4-centimeter-long claws. And braving hundreds of angry bees with only her tough skin for protection. Her son has a much harder time of it. His skin isn't yet as thick as Mom's. After 6 months, he's as big as Mom. When the jackals return, he's now got the fight to back up his bravery. By the time he's full grown, he's turned into a professional snake slayer. He'll gladly go out on a limb for his favorite meal. The honey badger's fearless pursuit of this deadly delicacy is made a bit safer, thanks to super thick skin and some resistance to venom. Still, the Cape Cobra is one of the most dangerous snakes in the world. But as they say, honey badger don't care. You might think a baby predator is way less dangerous than its parents. But some creatures are born bad and capable of killing from their very first day on Earth. Not all animals have to hone their killing skills through years of training. Some are fully fledged predators, just moments after arriving into the world. The peaceful English countryside. What better place for young life to frolic and play? But these little bundles of fur aren't what they seem. They're stoats, relatives of the weasel, one of the most efficient killers of any mammal. The playful antics of these young kits are just a warm-up for the serious business ahead. At just 12 weeks old, they're fully independent and ready to hunt for themselves. Their favorite meal is 10 times bigger than they are. A stoat may be tiny, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in stamina. It knows it's too dangerous to pounce on the rabbit straight away. So it wears it down by chasing it, and chasing it, over 1.5 kilometers at full sprint. The prey begins to flag, but the little predator still has energy to burn. The rabbit might weigh 2 kilograms or more. The stoat barely cracks 100 grams. But it overwhelms the larger animal with sheer ferocity. Instinct tells it what to do next. A bite to the back of the neck, and the rabbit is now a very large lunch. The artful young hunter will take over its victim's burrow and continue its mismatched reign of terror over the meadow. Some baby predators get no help from their parents at all and have to figure it all out for themselves. On the floor of an African rainforest, a tiny baby claws its way towards the light. Its mother has left it to its fate. No problem. This is a chameleon. It's born with a deadly weapon already locked and loaded. The first target, a spiderweb teeming with young. This baby is a natural marksman. Its tongue stretches double the length of its body. A couple milliseconds before it hits, the tip transforms into a kind of suction cup that latches onto prey. Another baby chameleon nails a cricket faster than the human eye can blink. Chameleon babies combine this weapon with skin that can change color, eyes that can see in 2 directions at once, and some fancy footwork. This baby's so well equipped for survival, it doesn't need parental supervision. Another baby reptile is even more dangerous. This little Aussie snake can kill anything its mother can, from the day it hatches. It's an inland taipan, the most venomous snake on Earth. Taipans stalk the Australian interior, searching for rodents, and armed with a weapon that could drop 100 men. A baby taipan's venom is no less toxic. This infant is on her very first hunt. Instinct tells her to target exactly what her mother would. One quick bite, and the venom begins its deadly work, destroying tissue and causing convulsions. She has killed adult-sized prey with ease. Making a meal of it is another story. Then, the tiny serpent picks up another faint odor in the grass. Something more her size. In looks and in killing power, baby inland taipans are a chip off the old block. Some baby predators like to confront their prey head-on and in the open. But others take a more devious approach and are junior masters of deception and manipulation. Not every animal is born with sophisticated weapons, ferocity beyond its years, or a mother eager to teach it killer moves. Some babies need other ways of getting ahead. They're cunning schemers for such a tender age, nature's most devious youngsters. This wasp is looking for a place to lay her eggs, or rather a foster mom. A caterpillar is the preferred choice. One stab, and her life is no longer her own. The caterpillar keeps feeding on leaves, while inside her body, tiny wasp larvae are feeding on her. They keep their lunch alive by making sure they don't touch vital organs. After a few weeks, the kids have fattened up and are ready to leave home. The wasp babies literally chew their way out. But they're so surgical, the caterpillar often lives through the ordeal. The larvae start spinning cocoons where they will grow and transform into adults. In some cases, it is thought that a few larvae stay behind in their host, keeping it under their control. Because even now, it acts on their behalf, spinning a silken blanket to conceal the brood, and acting as a bodyguard for its own parasites. Their zombie protector doesn't even stop to eat, until it eventually starves to death. The adult wasp emerge with one main purpose: to breed and lay another clutch of eggs inside an unfortunate host. Baby parasitic wasps can force a caterpillar to protect the brood, but that's nothing compared to the animal kingdom's true masters of mind control. No, this is not a Hollywood B-movie. The snail's eye stalks really are pulsing, a sure sign it's under alien control. Parasites have invaded its body. This snail is now on a march towards destruction. As a healthy snail grazes, it occasionally ingests bird droppings. But this bird is infected with flukeworm parasites. The flukeworm eggs hatch and creep into the snail's eye stalks, which appear to flash and pulse as the little bugs squirm. Now for the death march. The flukeworms force the snail to head out into broad daylight instead of hiding in the shade. Hungry birds spot the pulsating beacon, and the flukeworm's twisted life cycle starts all over. Forcing your will on a hapless foster mom isn't just for baby worms and bugs. A certain baby bird is notorious for it. High in a Korean forest, a mother parrotbill is tending to her nest. Her newborns are fighting. The weaker one is pushed out of the nest to his death by his unusually large brother. It seems like sibling rivalry gone bad, but all is not as it seems. Earlier, a common cuckoo spent days spying on the parrotbill. While the parrotbill is away, the cuckoo swoops in, destroys an egg, and lays one of her own. Mom returns none the wiser. The cuckoo's egg is much bigger, but she doesn't seem to notice. The imposter egg usually hatches first, and the new mother treats the baby as her own. She instinctively cares for any chick that's in her nest. It's a sinister strategy called brood parasitism, and this trick is just the beginning. One of the parrotbill's own chicks hatches, but it's born next to a deadly imposter. Killing works up an appetite. Below, a graveyard testifies to the baby cuckoo's efficiency. Soon, the imposter is too big for the nest. But the unsuspecting mother keeps feeding it and cleaning up after it. She will slavishly care for it, even as it outgrows her. It may be cuckoo, but it's smart enough to know a good deal when it sees one. Inside a cave in New Zealand is a galaxy of glittering stars. This beautiful light show is created by a deceptive and ugly baby insect. Glowworms will turn into a harmless fly when they grow up, but they spend their youth covered in a tube of mucus, mixing up chemicals to create a natural glow stick in their butts. But the lights are not just for show. Lurking under them are curtains of silk and sticky mucus fishing lines. They're designed to lure innocent victims. It's lights out for this moth. The glowworm rips the moth apart piece by piece and slowly devours it. Glowworms eventually turn into an adult fungus gnatfly, which only lives for a few days because they don't even have a mouth. It's their time as babies that they're at their most terrifying, spending 9 months dining on all types of insects. These babies lead a devious life, both beautiful and deadly. Some baby animals may be more sly than their parents, but others take outdoing mom and dad to a whole new level. These pint-sized predators are even more dangerous than the adults of their species. Most baby predators are no match for their parents' hunting prowess. A few are just as lethal at a young age. But one extreme class of youngsters are deadlier than mom and dad, and often look like completely different animals. The snowy egret. In this family, violence is strictly hush-hush. This elegant-looking bird has demanding mouths to feed, and her ungainly chicks take sibling rivalry to a whole new level. Most egret mothers lay 3 or 4 eggs. Those born early get a jump on the food and quickly outsize their later siblings. Hungry alligators have learned to lurk beneath an egret's nest. They know what's coming. The stronger chicks peck and stab their smaller sibling. Mom does nothing to intervene. This is all quite normal. Finally, the inevitable result. And a meal for one of the gators. These are the harsh rules of an egret's childhood. This behavior, known as siblicide, can be caused by a shortage of food. After this single act of violence, calm presides over the nest. A dutiful mother, 2 healthy chicks, and 1 well-fed alligator. Death lurks at the bottom of this pit. A ferocious newborn hunter called an antlion. Its parents were simple flying insects common all over the world. The larva is a mini monster with a savage set of jaws. Once hatched, it goes to work on a fiendish contraption. A pit in the sand, just 5 centimeters deep. But for some, it's a death trap. An unsuspecting ant edges closer to the pit. The antlion showers sand over the ant, creating a landslide that delivers lunch right to its jaws. It drags the ant underground to suck out its insides. The meal over, the antlion simply rebuilds his trap and waits for the next guest to drop in for dinner. You might think a baby predator is way less dangerous than its parents. But some creatures are born bad and capable of killing from their very first day on Earth. Not all animals have to hone their killing skills through years of training. Some are fully fledged predators just moments after arriving into the world. Predators. And almost all of them live in Hawaii. Isolated on these islands, their evolution took a different and deadlier path. Carnivorous caterpillars rely on camouflage to blend in. They sit motionless. 6 savage claws stand at the ready. Delicate bristles on their backs are super sensitive. The slightest touch springs the trap. When it grows up, it will become a beautiful nectar-eating moth. Until then, this baby is wired for murder. Another larval insect is also nothing like its parents. Dragonflies are elegant aerial hunters, flying over streams and swamps to pick off mosquitoes and flies. Their babies live in a completely different world. They even look like a different insect. And they're armed with a lethal natural weapon that their parents don't have. Its jaws launch forward, grab and impale. A fraction of a second, and a tadpole is devoured alive. Dragonfly babies are so voracious, they'll slay and eat things nearly their own size. Even their own kind. This victim keeps trying to catch tadpoles, even as it's being cannibalized. A predator to the very end. After spending up to 6 years underwater, the larva radically transforms, loses its spring-loaded jaw, and emerges to buzz over the swamp. Still a hunter, but leaving behind a reign of terror that it will never match again. Baby animals can be fierce, devious, and deadly. But only a select few are truly the stuff of nightmares. Young predators will bite, fight, and even kill to get ahead. But only a few cross the line into the extreme. The deadliest babies in the world routinely commit the most twisted acts that nature could devise. In a British garden, the players gather for a grisly scene. Dozens of tiny spiders, baby black lace weavers. These freshly hatched spiderlings are hungry. Their mother provides their only food. She lays a second batch of eggs, and the babies eagerly feast on their unborn brothers and sisters. As they grow, their appetites get bigger too. What's a mother to do? She has one last source of emergency food: herself. She signals to them by tapping the web, and her little ones gather around. Their killer instinct suddenly switches on, and they attack. The mother's insides dissolve, and the babies suck out the liquid meal. weeks, they'll disperse to lead solitary lives. And the females will one day make their own ultimate sacrifice for their babies. In a British garden, the players gather for a grisly scene. Dozens of tiny spiders, baby black lace weavers. These freshly hatched spiderlings are hungry. Their mother provides their only food. She lays a second batch of eggs, and the babies eagerly feast on their unborn brothers and sisters. As they grow, their appetites get bigger too. What's a mother to do? She has one last source of emergency food: herself. She signals to them by tapping the web, and her little ones gather around. Their killer instinct suddenly switches on, and they attack. The mother's insides dissolve, and the babies suck out the liquid meal. In 3 weeks, they'll disperse to lead solitary lives. And the females will one day make their own ultimate sacrifice for their babies. When other eggs hatch, he has a plan for them too. When it began, this shark shared the womb with countless eggs and half a dozen other embryos. By the time it's ready to be born, it's the only one left. Almost. Sand tiger mothers have 2 uteri. While the feeding frenzy was taking place on her right side, its macabre mirror image was playing out on her left. In the end, she gives birth to 2 offspring, already experienced in the art of killing. 2 of the deadliest newborns in the animal kingdom. It's a dangerous world. When the rule is kill or be killed, the ones that start early are the ones that survive. These babies do what they must to make it through their most vulnerable years. Call them ambitious. Call them crafty. Call them tough. But don't ever just call them cute again.